Good shit. Hello.
How's it going? How y'all doing?
Doing good. Where are we?
Where are we indeed? We are gathered around the virtual campfire where we speak of all the things, talk the deep magic around Age of Sigmar.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're here, dear listener, you probably know what this is about. This is not a virtual mysterious cabal.
No?
We're not doing that Should We Do Bop song that maybe we did earlier. This is Always Strikes Last, the podcast. And
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we do here.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. What's our focus, gentlemen? Is it small plastic men and monsters? Yes.
Well, and ladies. And all
first,
kinds of inanimate objects and people and things and places.
And demons. And undead.
And demons. Lots of demons. Matt, did you have something to say? Did something happen?
Matt,
what's going on?
Our first
Matt,
focus.
listen, you're talking way too much, man. I don't know what the fuck's going on here. But
our first focus is merchandising. That's right. Don't forget to subscribe.
For those looking at home, the Bod's Not God hat came out.
Yeah, if you're watching,
it goes great with the shorts that I wear near constantly as house clothes if I'm not working out. They're great. Matt, did you have something to add?
I'm here for it.
Matt, you just talking. I can't hear Jack. I don't know what's going on.
We wanted to say thank you to helping us get to 500 subscribers. It's amazing. We started this just on Podbean. We were like, we want to go to YouTube. We want to do bat reps. Getting us here is amazing. This is just the first step. We expected to hit this by end of year because we are but a lowly podcast. But, tell your friends. Help us get further. The further we get, the easier it is to make more episodes. So we really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, dear listener.
Super thankful listeners.
Right there on that sentiment. Thanks all of you out there for your support, your ears, and just everything you do to help us continue to do this thing. And of course, we love it when you shout us out in comments, when you say hello at events, and it's a chance to chat with you in the Discord and all that. So keep it up, and we can't wait to meet more.
And thank you to our patrons. Without you guys, we probably wouldn't be able to keep the lights on for this.
Oh, not at all. So that's not a problem. Yeah, the math is hard.
And, we got that tournament coming up for all you patrons. So come on down and kick the shit out of my lists, as well as Jack's.
That's absolutely right.
And Rocco's.
And Rocco.
Alex and Mason.
Maybe not, let's be honest. But, take him down a peg, too. Who knows?
Yeah.
That's right. If you missed this, dear listeners, by the time this episode's released, we're currently probably at that point in the very early stages of the first Always Strikes Last Slow Roll GT, where we play a GT out in the ITC over the course of about a month and a half to 2 months, which is a great way to get great games in when you're pressed for time, but also want to make sure it's high quality engagement with great people. So if you're catch it early, join us. Pretty easy. You just join the Discord. It's about $5 to enter. If not this one, though, the next one. We're going to keep doing these.
And we keep doing the RTTs. We have a blast with our community. And it's really nice that we can go and give back and do these events and do all these things. And again, you'll hear probably my voice over all the merch and the store and the whole bit. But again, everything really just does help us out.
Yep.
And, it keeps Matt, he needs to get 80 of everything. If he's not spending money on the podcast stuff, he can buy more Bestigor. Okay.
I find other ways to buy those modules.
I'm just imagining you eventually expanding your house just by using old sprues and sprue goo to make an addition.
That is possible and possibly more sustainable than some other options, right?
It's true. You're a warrior with that. Speaking of warriors, hard segue. What's our topic today, guys? Are we talking about someone's, not to bear the lead, strong performance at the Tacoma Open?
Did someone go 4-1 out on the West Coast in the other Washington?
Apparently so.
Was it Mason? No,
it was Mason.
He did do that. We're not talking about Mason today.
Was it Alex?
No,
he was on vacation.
Alex was on vacation.
It wasn't my ass. I have a broken spine right now I'm recovering from. True story. And Jack's on the East Coast and Miles is in Ireland.
So
Who
if
could
you
it be?
didn't,
Wait,
if
it's
you
the guy
didn't
with the
do it
bullshit
because
lists?
you
What?
Yeah. What? Wait a second, Matt. Are you saying that Rocco couldn't do this because he spinal tapped? So you cracked it to 11?
Yes, I did.
I am a drummer as well, so I've been making those jokes.
I went to 11. No, hey, I lost enough.
Yeah.
Like I always say, I lose in practice.
Damn right,
win on
Matt.
purpose. So
good. So this is amazing, Matt. You got to tell all of us about this run because this is a hero's journey right here. We've done a couple of these recently. I had my turn.
Yeah.
And we've talked with different times about things Mason's done. Let's talk about this experience. This is quite cool.
All right.
So first of all, like Tacoma Open,
very proud of you, buddy. Also, all the jokes aside.
run by the GW
you.
guys themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tacoma.
About 100 plus players out in Washington State. So not a small tournament.
It was a big event too, Chad.
Something like that. 99.98. But it was, I think, the second biggest that they've had so far.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So it was packed with really good players.
Yeah, we know the Pacific Northwest full of killers. Yeah,
previous episode, I know we've talked about some of the players, some of the lists. I'm sure you all have gone out to Honest Wargamer. Shout out to Rob. And
second on that,
doing the stats center.
Yeah, just
amazing.
Just great breakdowns of all the lists. So you guys probably know. I somehow managed to duck a lot of them. But that being said, it was an interesting tournament. There was much more variation in lists than I had seen in a long time. Yeah, and there are a lot of different play styles too, which is something I have not seen in a very, very long time. In Age of Sigmar.
That's
since second edition. It was the most widest field since second edition. To me.
Oh, Matt, don't threaten me with a good time.
I'm telling you, man, this is...
Don't make me go back to my glory day.
Haven't I said this?
But it was nice.
Since I got my hands on the GHB, haven't I said this is the Age of Sigmar? Alex has said this is the way that Age of Sigmar should be played. He is 100% correct. For the people who
that is our official stance on this podcast.
From the beginning. Second edition, math is hard. Third edition and fourth from the beginning with individual little stupid battle tactics. This is your edition. You are competitive again because you're not stuck playing a stupid list game. You are playing a tactics game. And I'm going to die on that hill. I don't care.
But is this a war game?
Yeah, I think it's a good way to start. So let's just kind of roll into this one, Matt. So first things first. We'll make us hold your breath because you would win that particular contest since you were playing what?
What were you doing, Matt?
So I brought my Soulblight Gravelords list, which I essentially haven't changed for like 3 years. So
it's true.
I've been playing Vargeist since everybody has been calling them dumb. I've been playing Black Knights, or as they're called now by the kids, Barrow Knights.
All the cool kids say it,
right? And I can go through my list, I guess.
Please.
I'm supposed to do that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I know. This is new territory. We got a floor mat, no more.
I know. I don't know. I'm a welcome mat. Walk all over me.
Yeah.
So list name, I only use a straw, which I think is perfect for vampires, right? We've got a little class. Soulblight Gravelords, Bacchanal Blood. For those who don't know, it's +1 to wound when your vampires have charged. And if you have any wizard vampires that ain't in combat, they're +1 to cast. So now it's super strong because it's very hard to get +1 to cast. Across the board now. And +1 to bind, right? So that, to me, I've been playing that forever. It just got better. Right?
Yeah.
Spell lore is Lore of Undeath. It's the only one I can take, I think. Don't know.
That sounds
right.
The
manifestation was Twilight Sorceries. And I took it mainly because I wanted the mirror. And the reason I wanted the mirror is because most of the spells are only 12-inch range for Soulblight when you're using Lore of Undeath. But they have one of what I consider the most powerful spells in the game, which is target that, it fights last. Now, if I'm +1 to cast, and it's +1 to be cast because of the mirror, I'm not taking a negative like smack for casting it through the mirror. So I'm already at an advantage to anybody else who would be trying to fling spells further across. And then the other great thing that I like about the spells themselves is that while they're not big, they're all really good at getting in the way. So the primary use of the spells was to be a distraction or be a roadblock that meant that if you were going to charge me, I could place this just within 2.5 inches if you had a larger base, or, you know, just outside of where you could set your base down. So charge wouldn't be possible. You'd have to pile in. And at that point, you'd have to break your unit. Right?
I guess this is the Geminids, the Palisade, and the Mirror. So
particularly the Palisade, I think, is really good at that. And then put in the Geminids in small spots where if somebody tries to pile through, they'll just break their unit in half, and then they'll lose half the unit. Right?
All the momentum, charge blocker extraordinaire. That's nice.
Yeah. So just like positioning. My battle tactics were Scouting Force and Wrathful Cycles. We've gone through an entire episode on this.
But I'll done 2 or 3 at this point. But
I'll clinch it down into
clinch it, baby.
Scouting Force means that I can play aggressively, super aggressively at the beginning of the game if I want to. If I deem that I'm going up against like a castle or somebody who's going to be spread out, I can go ham, right? Get out there, get everybody out. That ties in with Wrathful Cycles for controlling more objectives at the beginning of the game. So essentially what I did there was I started to max out objectives early on in the game. And then the goal is to like get almost all of Scouting Force by bottom of turn 2, top of turn 3. That's the hope, right?
Yeah.
And it's not really hard with my list, and I'll show you why in just a sec. But the opposite side of that is Wrathful Cycles now says, hey, I am 2 away from maxing out all of my battle tactics.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Because you now have to take the double if I'm applying this much pressure on you, right?
And then you're the
and that's the only way. Yep. And that's the only way they're going to push out of what could be, 5, 10, 15, 20 point lead that I already have. But I'm also fast, and I'm also taking objectives early. So I've got an objective lead in most of the games, right? So that's the core clump together.
I love that.
Is make the decision. And if you don't make that decision to take the double to clear me from where you need to clear me, then, I'm sorry, I'm just going to run away in points on the other side. I may not get to 80, but, 70 is very easy to get to.
Yeah. 70, very respectable 70. And, honestly, a win is 60 to 70. They call it a win. That's so good.
Yeah, and it really comes down to owning the tempo, right? So if I'm not owning the tempo of the game, then these are horrible tactics. But with my play style, this fits perfectly for me. I don't know if I'd recommend it for everybody, but because you basically are asking people to call your bluff, starting from turn 3 onwards, which is fun. I love it because it means that I don't have to worry about anything. I just worry about my objective control, and if they call the bluff, they call the bluff. But if they don't, I've already got a ton of points ahead of them already. So
and you want to go first with this list.
Half the time, right? It depends on the opponent's list. So
I walked into that.
But just like some of the opponents. With the General's Regiment, which is first one, I started with Laukavai. She had to be the general here for whatever reason. A unit of Blood Knights, a reinforced unit of Vargeist, 2 units of unreinforced Vargeist. So
and the Vargeist do have the vampire keyword to get the +1 to wound on the charge.
Yes, sir. So that is 3 or 4 attacks. I can't remember off the top of my head because.
But also the Blood Knights obviously are vamps too. So this is all great. Okay.
Yeah, but exploding to hit, exploding 6s to hit, wounding on 2s, right? So
love that.
You're kind of averaging a 3 and up to hit if you roll regularly, right? So
because again, the math clears it because it'll generate enough on the 6 to be okay.
And the reinforced unit of Vargeist means that I do have some actual like infantry clearing punch or monster clearing punch if it's like a 4 and up save, right?
Or scouts.
Yeah. Yep. The other reason behind kind of leaning behind 3 Vargeist was that I knew that the I can't remember the name of the battle tactic card, but the one where you have 3 units that you have to kill.
Oh, that you have to kill. Okay, yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head. I know everybody else knows the name who's listening.
Intercept and recover.
Yeah. So those Vargeist are going to be super hard to hit.
I'm going to laugh if that was the right thing.
Meaning that I'm still putting all of that tempo on my side, right? I'll just, you're close to that 1 unit of Vargeist? That's great. I'll just teleport them away, force a 6-inch run on the other unit, getting them 18 inches away from you, and then redeploy on the next turn, right?
Intercept and recover, I was right.
So
keep going. Yeah.
So there's a lot of ways of taking away battle tactics from other people very easily with Vargeist. And then the other regiment, because it's only a 2-drop, was Vampire Lord on Nightmare Steed with Shard of Night, meaning I was essentially, what do you call it? I was ghostly. I was a ghosty boy.
Yeah.
So I couldn't have my save modified from shooting. And I couldn't modify my save as well, but on a 3+ save, that's pretty good.
Take those odds. Yeah.
And then Immortal Ego, which I switched to after I played a Sylvaneth player who continually was re-rolling his to hit and his to wound and his save on each phase. And it was driving me insane. I was like, I'll go ahead and take this. And I forgot it the entire time because I was so used to using the just heal flat 3 that I like to use. So that regiment and that Vampire Lord had with them 3 units of Barrow Knights. One of them was reinforced. So 2 units of 5, 1 unit of 10. And the strength of the Barrow Knights is, a lot of people will say the resiliency, but that's kind of the side effect of the new War Scroll, which I expect them to go up in points and yada, yada, yada. But it's their speed and it's their throwaway ability. Like, I don't care. They're going to come back, which means I can play them aggressively. So if I throw everything into you and I pin you and I last maybe a little bit longer than you expect them by 1 turn, I've already continued to push the tempo against you. So now you have me owning a ton of battle tactic points, a ton of objective points. You're now getting pinned and you feel really, really behind. And that second battle tactic from Wrathful Cycles feels really, really good now to me.
Yeah.
Right? So
makes sense.
Yeah, so that's the list. It did fairly well. I think I did okay with it. I think when we get to retrospective, we could talk about that. But,
yeah. Well, we'll have to recap. Let's start at the dawn of the first day, right? You know, this is always tradition. If I don't say it, Rocco's going to say it. You know what the question is.
Yeah. What was your pregame ritual, buddy?
Yeah.
So pregame ritual was actually a little bit lighter than I thought it would be. So I had some leftovers that I had for breakfast.
Okay.
About like a cup and a half of coffee, a ton of water. Picked up like a pastry on the way there. And
I
mean, you're in the land of coffee shops, right? So
yeah. And
I did send you a shoobity-doo, me and my
You did. You did.
Timely.
And it did summon inspiration.
Ooh.
But I actually, one of the things that I do like to do when I go to tournaments is drive the back roads wherever I am. So I'll take an extra 15, 20, 30 minutes, whatever it is, to kind of like center on my way there. It allows me to use the heated seats to help my back.
I like that.
But also listen to what I want to listen to. In this case, I was listening to, I was actually nerding the hell out. I was listening to Trading in the Zone, which is this really, really good book that Mark Douglas wrote. And it's really about recognizing emotion and how to deal with it when that is overriding consistency. And so the theme of the day was consistency.
I love that.
Nice.
So, so I'd highly recommend the book, even if you're not into trading. It's very good for recommending and working on using consistency as a muscle, which is exactly what you want. So no Ghost, because that's you guys' deal, and I just drink black coffee because I would like to bleed acidic bean juice when I die. But I still love the
Pacific Northwest. I think coffee's warranted. Yeah. I'll leave this choice.
Yeah, we don't have any Dunkin' Donuts, so I still a little sad about that. You know,
there's cute little huts and dirt parking lots where someone is crammed into a 4-foot space with an espresso machine.
Yep. This is magic. And half the time they're wearing a bikini. It is the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah. I never got that.
Bikini baristas. I don't know if they exist anywhere else, but I moved out here a while ago, like over a decade ago now. And it was the first time I'd ever seen it. And I was like, okay, well, this is a thing. So anyways,
it's pretty unique. But
it's really surprising when you don't realize it's one and you're just driving up to get some coffee.
Sure.
Because coffee stands exist.
That's
no matter
true.
Okay, so got in probably about 40 minutes early, just kind of wanted to walk around, get used to the fact that I was going to be in a room with probably 1,000 people.
Between all the events.
Yeah. Got my ear protection in. I don't know if...
What you rocking these days?
If anybody else has problems with a lot of noise, a lot of people talking, I know I do. I'd highly recommend these. Whatever they're called, quiets or loops or something.
Yeah, my wife's huge on her loops.
Yeah, they're really
having something. Yeah.
So
is it the musicians in us, Matt, going like, you're around a lot of loud noises. You need something to protect your ears.
I mean, the weird thing is, like with music, it's never bothered me. I very rarely had to deal with it because if you're on a stage, you're not actually getting a lot of loud music pounded at you because your amps and everything else are going out that way. As long as you have good sound deadening wherever you're practicing, it stops the cymbal crash, and then there's a whole science behind it. But I have never had
learned a little late.
Yeah,
as you can see the blurred out soundproof padding around me.
There you go.
Better late than never, Rocco.
What?
For sure. Exactly.
I mean, I still need to do it. I still need to do it in here, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. The echo in here has been driving me nuts when I'm trying to do the mastering. But
let's not keep the people in suspense, Matt. So here you are. You show up at the table with your whole army of Vargeist and knights.
People wondering what the fuck is that. Wait, what was the name of your list?
I only drink. Wait. Hold on. I don't want to slaughter that. I only use a straw.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to make sure
the lances, are they hollow? Get the juice in that way.
We're just a delicate.
Nice. Elegant solution.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So round one. What did it look like for you playing?
Round one, I. Hilariously. Of course, now it's not going to do all of these.
Oh, of course not.
Because that's how it goes. Modern technology is the worst. So I want to start off with the fact that I had no idea what games I was playing before we played the games until I showed up and I asked my opponent, because they gave us these cards. And I thought they were just normal cards blown up. Ooh, super nice. But they're actually in order. And so the fact that I can't read meant that I had no idea that these were all ordered, and I could have actually studied the battle plans ahead of time. So I just kind of showed up and played them. So,
my man.
I'm making it harder for everybody to like this episode. So
you were unbothered. You came in.
Yep.
No clue what was going on, but you were kicking ass and taking names.
Yep. Just unbothered, moisturized, and in my
Staying
lane.
in your lane.
So Battle Plan 1 was Bountiful Equinox, which the underdog was heal 3 on specific
below the heal mechanic
objectives, right? It felt like an actually fairly underwhelming mission, but my opponent was a gentleman and a scholar, Benjamin Boardman. Super nice guy. He had this beautiful Skaven army that was pumpkin patch theme.
Okay.
So nice. They were all like pumpkin orange and green, and it was just like, well, this is a great way to start the day. I love Skaven. Mm-hmm. And his list was Gathering of Clans, 3-drop, Lore of Ruin, Manifestations of Doom, which I don't think he even pulled out once. He also, in his General's Reg, you're probably going to see a theme here. Scourge of Garan, Grey Seer on the Screaming Bell. Wow. He had Foulhide and Devious Underling, which I can't remember what Devious Underling does, but Foulhide is just heal. 3 units of Clan Rats, and what are we calling them? Soggy? A Soggy Brood Terror. Nice. So that was first reg. Second reg was a Master Molder and 2 units of Reinforced Rat Ogres.
Okay.
And then the third reg was a Warlock Bombardier, Rattling Warp Blast or Gatling Warp Blaster, the pew pew on the wheels.
Yeah.
And a Warp Lightning Cannon.
Okay. We got a good amount of bodies. We got some good hitting in the Rat Ogres. Got a lot of shooting. You throw in a Brood Terror.
Kind of a well-rounded list.
A lot of recursion too, right?
Yeah.
So
you get the Master Molder in there. I like this. All right.
So we're setting up and doing the casual talk, and I was like, man, this is a lot of wounds to be going into, because I'm not going to be doing much damage, because I don't do damage. I do zooms.
Yes.
And so we set up, and he had, I think he was attacker, and a lot of his stuff, I think I didn't make him attacker just because I wanted to see what would happen.
Yeah.
So he pushed most of his stuff off to his left. My right is the opponent, and kind of blobbed up, kind of knowing that I had Vargheists, which could teleport and stuff. And this was a theme throughout the entire tournament, was everybody blobbed up for Vargheists, which are kind of worthless if they come in 9 inches away and fail a charge. So everybody was expecting huge damage dealers coming in. I was like, cool, just relegate yourself over there. That's fine. That being said,
sit over there, I'll score the points, right?
Yeah. So it was just let it happen, right?
Like so a punk a foot hero, but maybe not a unit.
Barely punk a foot hero. They whiff more than they hit, but that's not what they're there for, right?
Yeah. So they're there for movement shenanigans. I love this. Okay.
Yeah. So everything was pretty much blobbed up. And he was using the Clan Rats to kind of make sure that I couldn't get within a charge range from a teleport into his little juicy meats of, the Screaming Bell and the shooting. So he goes ahead. I'm not going to go turn by turn on this, but essentially moves his army up very slowly. And at this point, I'm already outscoring him on objectives. I've taken 4 by the bottom of turn 2. He shot at a unit and killed about, I think he killed 1 unit of Barrow Knights on a really lucky roll. And then his next roll blew up his Warp Lightning Cannon, and it was downhill from there.
As you do with Skaven.
Yeah. So he had some just really, frankly, like I walked away from the game thinking that his rolls kind of saved me the game more than it did my playing. But he had a lot of fighting his dice, and then a little bit of positioning issues. So that I was able to press on him. Essentially, from turn 1 onwards, he was trying to move his entire blob of an army onto the center point and then be able to teleport. And so as soon as I noticed he was going to do the Master Molder and Rat Ogres come up and we're just going to hold this, I was like, you know what? Let's just throw everything into those Rat Ogres. Who cares, right? My skeletons will come back. Those things, maybe or maybe not. I don't think I can kill the unit, but what I can do is reduce it down enough to where he's got like 1 or 2 left in the unit, right? In each unit. And if I can do that, then he can't go through like normal recursion of bring back the unit at half strength. He's walking around trying to fill it up using a CP to do so, right?
Yeah.
So the goal there was to not kill any unit off, not even clan rats. So as soon as I got into any combat with any unit, it was okay. The goal is to split the attacks with everything so that I'm not guaranteed killing anything off. Now, I think I killed off 1 unit of Rat Ogres doing that because I just totally overcommitted. But the other unit of Rat Ogres was down to 1. I managed to kill down a bunch of the clan rat units to the point where there was just not much there in any of them. And like, great, if they come back, what are they going to do? Just bounce off my black points, right? The Varguys managed to take a bunch of objectives and then, bounce out, be outside, and then be there for support for clearing up any of the clan rats. There were a couple of points where after the Rat Ogres were kind of whittled down, there was then an opening to get back in to his juicy, meaty, shooty center. The Warlock Bombardier, the Master Molder, and the Rattling Warp Blaster were all just behind the woods, hiding there, waiting so they could shoot me on his following turn. And so I was able to kind of do a sneaky charge into one of his clan rat units, and that left just enough where I could pile into the Rattling Warp Blaster on that turn, and it can't shoot in combat. So I'm just he's either got to choose to retreat and deal with
take
that
some damage,
or lose his characters because I'm coming for them next, right? Because they're right there. So he chooses not to retreat. Or I think he did choose to retreat, but at that point I was within 3 inches of the characters. He didn't have enough to deny me, and he was so afraid of losing his soggy Gracier and Screaming Bell that he had teleported him off into my back corner. So his idea was at that point that he was going to get the soggy Brood Terror to just rip through everything. He then proceeded to roll in a way that I can only describe as a kindred spirit, and whiffed every single attack that he had with that thing. I think maybe 1 or 2 got through, and that pulped a knight, and that was it, right? So
that didn't have its best day ever with you, which sometimes does happen in that level, but not this time.
We take
at
those.
That point, I was like, okay, cool. I'm just going to go and take that back objective. You're not even going to get the points for the double back. And he was like, okay, so I got to try and figure something else out. I think he did. No, he refused taking the double because he didn't want to give me any more points, which meant that, because we were going 1-on-1, I was just able to kill off, and he didn't have any way to hold me down and like absolutely beat the shit out of me. because he didn't have 2 turns to do it. So after the scream bell comes down in the bottom right corner, he brings back that 1 unit of rat ogres that I had nuked earlier. Yep. And he sticks them behind his screaming bell. And I understand like the idea, but I would have just stuck them up front and tried to charge them, because at that point I'd had 1 turn of being able to get everybody up into my next turn. I was going to have charge with about a third of my army into the screaming bell. So at that point, I think I had lost 1 unit of Black Knights or Barrow Knights. And the game was, he called it after I kind of like wiped everything down in that corner. I think there were just like the rat ogres were left, but that was about it. It was an amazingly kind person that I wish his dice had gone a little bit different, because it would have been a much different game. But it was a really fun game. It was a lot of fun to play against. I've never seen anybody roll as badly as me like he did, outside of one person, Jim. You know who I'm talking about.
All right, so game 1, a good matchup. The other day, with Skaven, sounds like a real fun game, but one where the dice gods favored you. You're able to kind of get that meaty center, ultimately take it. So on to round 2. You're 1-0 at this point, powered not by a ghost, but we'll let that slide, but by hot coffee and other good things. So what did the middle of the day hold for you? What was the round 2?
Alex here was the only person that I lost against, and it was my second hardest game. But it was where all of my sins from the earlier game, where I was rolling averagely, came back to haunt me.
So the dice gods balanced it out.
And I think at one point Alex was like, it was that bad where he was apologizing to me about my dice. Shit. I was like, nope, man, we've been through this before. I played Alex a bunch of times. He used to play a lot of Spoopy Ghosts, but he's moved on to Tzeentch. And so his list is called BBQ Chicken. And he's running a Word Flame host. It's 4 drops with Lore of Change. And he was using the manifestations of Tzeentch. He was running Wrathful Cycles and Intercept and Recover. And his general's regiment was Lord of Change with Illusionist, Mutating Blade, and he had the 1 baleful sword, so the D6 extra attacks, which just turns it into a fucking nightmare in combat. Chaos Spawn of Tzeentch, reinforced unit of Flamers of Tzeentch, and a soggy unit of reinforced Carrick Acolytes. The next regiment was a Fate Skimmer on Burning Chariot. The next regiment was the Changeling. And then the last regiment was a Changecaster, Herald of Tzeentch, a reinforced unit of Blue Horrors and Brimstone Horrors, and then 2 units of minimum Pink Horrors. So I think we all kind of know this list in certain permutations or another. He basically had the Trixie moving castle. So at any point in time, he could just gum me up. Now the mission itself was Roiling Roots, which is, I think, the only one. That is the only one that I think I had played before the tournament. So I'd only played Roiling Roots before. I'd actually played that against Alex Frias on one of our test games, prepping for, while I was prepping for this tournament. And this one is actually really good if you're the underdog. It makes you be able to pick a pair of objectives and make the people on those objectives fight last for the rest of the battle. That's good. Which is super good, especially if you are in a bind, right? What it's not good against is horrors that explode and throw mortal wounds at you when they're striking last.
Yeah.
So Alex, once again, I can't underline how much of a fun opponent he is. Like immaculate. Dude brings a music stand to his games so that he can have everything available. And I'm just like,
okay.
You know what? Every time I'm like, I should really be doing that because then I don't have to search through books and shit.
Yeah.
So immaculate
sense.
player, he is so practiced and so measured in every move that he makes, and it's perfect for Tzeentch. And he played this list about as perfectly as I think anyone could. So he started with his blobbers. His blobby blobs.
Yep.
And
the big old bubble gums.
Yeah. He pulled a come at me, bro. So what he did was essentially blob around the one objective in his territory and then put down the the changeling a little bit closer to me to just try and get a couple spells out and be annoying, right?
Sure.
So that was kind of start of the game. I think I had actually made him go first because I wanted him to have more opportunity to spread out or make a mistake that I could capitalize on because I knew he could only teleport one unit at a time. Yeah. And I was going to have the speed on him no matter what. So he goes from that one objective and kind of just spreads out just enough where I can see that he's just trying to bait me into hitting him. And so for the next turn and a half, I basically spend the time going on objective play and just ranking up enough to where he was gonna have to. I think he was actually, he did end up having to double me.
Okay.
This came at like the most opportune time. He had flamers that were on one side that had just demolished the Black Knight unit and taken out my Vargheists. And then he was able to teleport them right in the right spot to take out another unit of Barrow Knights and another unit of Vargheists. Wow. So within that span, my movement was cut down to like 25% of what I would think I normally wouldn't be using. And so from that point on, it was really actually an uphill battle, but we were both like so low scoring over the course of the game that each turn was basically a flip of who was winning. So it was one objective for that, one objective for that, one objective for that, one objective for that.
Yeah.
Flamers.
Nice tight back and forth.
Flamers I was able to kill. And he did some crazy mathematics and managed to put them back behind my lines and help take down the Vangorian Lord a little bit earlier on. So
the danger of them bringing back that unit at half strength, and you're like, oh, you can fit back there.
Yep. And so it was very close. But in the end, again, it was the only game that was a loss. Again, I think at the end of that game, I think both him and I were so just like mentally drained by like both of us having to play perfectly in spite of our dice. I think he maybe got like 5 casts off the entire game in his list with how many wizards he had. And both of us were just kind of fighting, but his shooting was on point and it saved him, as well as the Soggy Acolytes. I underestimated them and 100% paid the price for it. They managed to clear the left quadrant objective for me, and I was expecting a 10 block unit of Barrow Knights to last just one turn longer. They charged in and just wiped.
Was it a reinforced unit?
Yeah, it was reinforced.
Yeah, double check.
Soggy Acolytes, okay.
Soggy Acolytes are good. I don't know if it's worth the trade from shooting, but there's so much better shooting in the book already that it actually kind of feels good.
That's why you bring flamers. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that ended up with him being a win 45 and a loss at 42 for me.
Oh.
So
you kept it within 3 even.
Yeah, I actually had 3 battle tactics, and he only got 2. So it was a minor loss, minor victory for him.
Jeez.
Notable right here. Minor losses and minor victories do matter. So we'll come back to that later.
Yeah. So that was my second hardest game of the tournament, and that's a lot of that really just underestimating the Soggy War Scrolls. Both of us just completely like having to deal with a lot of the core mechanics of our dice not working on the things that we kind of needed to roll average on. I think both of us played about as like hard as you can, especially on this mission, which can really, really be debilitating if somebody catches you off guard.
Yeah. One of those ones where there's like a real underdog mechanic. Oh, there's a consequence.
Yeah, where this really changes it, right? So yeah, it was a very good game, and I'll always love playing Alex. He's such a gentleman and a scholar, and I learn something new every time we play. Yeah, so I was feeling pretty good about that because at the end of that game, we knew, and this is also a recurring theme. Per our last, per one of our episodes, we were getting pretty late in the game. There was a lot going on, right? I think we started setting up a little bit late.
Yeah, come back from lunch or whatever, sure.
But we got kind of to the edge, and we knew that there was no way we were going to be able to talk it out. I think it was bottom of 4th. And we were so close that there was no real understanding of what could happen had we not played it out. And I was really happy that we took less points, even if that meant that cost me a win or that cost him like a major victory. But it was an honest end of a game, knowing that both of us could have done something crazy at the end of the turn had we had more time. And I really loved that. I feel like that was the best part of the sportsmanship out of the entire tournament, which was
you love to see.
Hey, you know what? Neither of us are gonna like kind of say, well, I could win this or I could win this, right? We're both like, I have no idea what could happen. Let's just call it here.
That's right. Too opaque at that spot. And so you got the honest score, you got the minor loss, and then so here you are, you're 1-1 at this point, going into game 3. And was the first one a major victory? Or was the first one tighter?
I believe so. This is where we'll need to check all of these, huh? I believe every single one of the games that I won were major victories, if I remember correctly.
So that's a good way to preface it. And
that is, and we'll double check. We'll double check as we go through. But
so we'll revisit that later as we get to the end. But I think it's a good thing for every listeners to keep in mind that if you win or lose by 4 points or fewer, you win or lost. But it's a minor or major victory, which is one of the tiebreakers.
Yeah, you get those battle tactics, man. Get those battle tactics.
Yeah.
But let's just dive into round 3. You show up.
Round 3 was
Thursday 1.
Phil is an amazing person. He lives right up the street. And Phil, I need you to come down and play because of my dungeon. Come play in my dungeon.
Yep.
He brought Flesh Eater Courts.
So this is an undead off.
This is an undead off, and Flesh Eater Courts have been kind of one of those armies that I haven't been able to wrap my mind around really beating. They always cause me a lot of problems because they're debuff, fights last, multiples, right? Especially if they're bringing certain things. And they can out recursion Soulblight,
which is like the most ironic thing ever.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess it makes sense. You have all your vassals, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
and the schools and the wings do whatever, or think some sort of courtly pageant.
Right.
So he was bringing Court of the Winter King. I don't know if that's the name or not. Yeah, I think that's the name of the sub-faction. Scouting
Court of the
Force,
Winter King. All right.
I don't know. His list is not done through Warhammer app, and I'm having trouble.
Looking at a vellum scroll or something?
Oh, I don't know. Either way, his battle tactic cards were Scouting Forest and Attuned to Gairan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He had Lore of Madness, Rites of Delusion, and Aether Rot Machineries, which I thought was an interesting one.
You go for the free endless spells,
Yeah.
Aether Rot's the best if you don't want to pay points. So
I disagree. I like my Twilights. Nothing like making you not be able to save. So he also got, he started with his General's Reg, had Usharan, good old Ushi, and then 1 unit of 20 Crypt Guard, 2 units of 20 Crypt Ghouls, 1 Royal Decapitator with Charnel Vestments. I like Carnal. Maybe that's too much Slanesh. Charnel Vestments. Abhorrent Ghoul King on Royal Terrorgeist was the hero for his next regiment. And that one had Stronger in Madness and Horribly Resilient. Which, we got to talk about this one. Then that had Royal Beast Flares and 6 Morbid Knights, and then an Abhorrent Gore Warden sitting on a charnel throne, right?
Yep.
Mission for this was Surge of Slaughter. And both of us completely forgot because it is, third game. That's when you start getting a little loopy, a little slippy, right?
Yep.
About the
endurance test,
extra rend that you get for being an underdog, which is really good.
Oh, yeah, that's a significant one right there. That's one of the goodies.
Both of us forgot. I don't think it would have changed the game in any way. So this was an interesting game for a lot of reasons.
Go on.
I love you, Phil.
Come to his basement.
So this
it's not a trap, we swear.
It's not a trap, we swear.
You say it like sinister like that is extra convincing.
Thank you.
We swear. Anyway, so
swear, fella.
So Phil wanted to. Essentially, I'd had a lot of practice against this type of list over the years in different iterations, but essentially the way it works is the Abhorrent Ghoul King on Royal Terrorgeist is an unkillable beat stick, right?
Yep.
And it just rolls around, deleting units off the table, forcing people to forget about battle tactics. So I said, you know what? Let's get our early tactics in. So got all of those right away. Started to put the pressure on him as soon as possible. And Phil decided to move up to the center of the board to try and just like smush that center objective, ensure that he's always got that as kind of a bonus for that score 1 at least, right? And control more. I think he really thought that the Abhorrent Ghoul King was going to be his like objective taker and like kingmaker. So I go ahead and I split up. The majority of my army goes to the right and gets just kind of out of charge range of the Abhorrent Ghoul King to kind of tempt him into a possible underdog moment for me for a double.
Yeah.
And then I send my Vargeist off where they can just do random stuff, except for my 1 big unit of 6, where I put that right up next to my entire line that I've pushed off to the right. just out of range of a charge from the abhorrent Ghoul King. So I set it up so that it looks like I'm going to move towards the center objective because I've pushed up and off to the right. Just out of range, being very scared of that thing charging at me.
Makes sense.
I kind of tapped the objective. I kind of tapped the other objective. And then I kind of tapped the top right objective in his deployment zone. And so at that point, he's like, okay, well, I've got this one unit that's going to be able to hit this charge, right? And I'm like, awesome. So following turn, he sends in his abhorrent Ghoul King to take that objective from me and try and kill like a unit. He completely succeeds. That unit is gone, only to come back later, right?
Because, as you do in an undead off. Yep.
Pharaoh Knights. So on the following turn, we hold priority. I full send the entire army into that Ghoul King after making it fights last. Using the mirror.
Okay. Yep.
You know, it's not just that you did that, Matt. It's you did so thematically with the podcast in mind for continuation.
So I forgot to say this, but I had set the mirror up ahead of time. So I set the mirror up in the spot where I wanted my models to be later on in the game. And where I knew that stupid Terrorgeist was going to take the bait. It was going to take the bait on one side or the other. And I could get my Sorcerer on either side of those mirrors to throw fights last. So throw the fights last out. Terrorgeist fighting last. I kill it down to the wound with my entire army fighting.
Ooh.
It was some interesting stuff. So now I've got the majority of my army in this black hole.
In the middle.
What once was
not touching an objective.
Terrorgeist.
The corpse of a Terrorgeist. Okay.
He's now faced with another decision, right? What am I going to do? So he throws what are they called?
Morbeg Knights?
Yeah, Morbeg Knights. Throws the Morbeg Knights up to try and capture an objective on my side. And I think that gets him a tactic that he was looking for. And I'm at that point like, okay, it's whatever. I can charge those Morbeg Knights. I'll slowly whittle them down. I've been whittling them down over the course of the game. You know, waste your CP on trying to bring them back, right? Again, I know that I don't want to kill a unit down to a man except for any of the heroes.
Yep.
So I'm not focused on killing units. I'm focusing on making sure that I'm bringing just enough to be under the amount to kill something. So this goes on after that turn, like losing his Terrorgeist that early on. I think it was bottom of turn 2.
It sounds right. Yeah.
Was pretty demoralizing. He did not expect it to go. And I frankly didn't either. It was 50-50 whether or not it was going to go. And luckily I was on the right side of the 50. So at that point, now he's got Ushi moving down to the center of the board with, I think it was the Crypt Ghouls and Crypt Guard, which I still can't tell the difference between those two units. They look the same. Give him a Mohawk or something. Come on, no?
Yeah.
So they're holding the center just as planned, which means I'm now able to sweep up to get his terrain next to the objective in his
territory.
In his territory, thank you.
You're welcome.
Which means I've now got my last objective for scout.
Yeah.
I'm also destroying the terrain, and I'm gonna get that stupid dude who gets free little happy points. Regardless, that means now his reply is going to have to be, do I come back there with Ushi or another unit? Because that's where the majority of my army is turning up. So I split up one side and split down that side, right? So no matter which way he goes, I'm going to have a reply for one objective or the other. So at that point, I've been holding objectives, holding objectives, holding objectives. And I think by that time, this had been a fairly slow one. And so I kind of set the clock aside because he was getting a little frustrated, and I wanted to ensure that like I wasn't putting any pressure on him.
Yeah.
So we did go to time. And it was anybody's game. It ended up being 57-44. At that point in time, I thought it was a pretty easy thing because he was down to just Ushi and one of the units of what are they called? The little guys. Ghouls. One of the units of ghouls.
The little guys.
And then like I think the Morbeg Knight had like 2 left. And then I still had units that were going to come on next turn. And so it was going to be a harder ride to victory, but it looked pretty solid for me, even just with, more than 10 points differential, right?
Nice.
So, in the end, it was awesome. It's a theme with Phil. We always seem to have the last game of like a day or a tournament where we're both exhausted. And so I love how gracious of an opponent he is, and how much he puts up with me doing wacky shit that sometimes works out. So worked out for me this time. But yeah, that was a very, very good game. Yeah, and that was the first day.
Awesome. So you're
2-1.
Not doing too bad. The dream's alive for some pretty cool stuff to happen.
I wasn't worried about the dream, My goal was my goal was consistency. Can I be consistent on the moves that I'm making? Right. That was the theme of the day, was consistency.
If I can, as your book or your audiobook listening to Millennium was telling you. So here you are, you're consistent.
If I can average 2 wins with 1 loss, I'm winning the game.
It's the way to go.
And you get most of your battle tactics. The plan is working. Winning through movement. That's great that it's not just killing.
The double flip to make sure you're always getting your tactics. Things are going according to plan, which, as we talked about in the earlier episode, is kind of the thing. Go in with your list having a plan. How will you do the things you need to do to win the game? So if they don't give you something easy to react to, you can still do it. Which is good.
Okay, so day 2. Oh, sorry. Go on, Matt.
No, but to like really, really follow through on that, it's like, and having that plan means like knowing when I have to abandon that plan, right? And that's the thing. When I have to abandon that plan that I set out to, I need to be able to think objectively about what is the new plan. How do I react to a new set of circumstances? Right.
Yes.
So
and that trips a bunch of people up because, like, whoa, I had a plan. I got to do the thing. I got to do the. Sometimes you just got to be like, nah, it's fucked. We got to think on our feet.
It falls apart. And then you do the other thing. Absolutely, guys. Absolutely.
Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face.
Yep. Repeatedly.
And then the new plan is break that fist with your face.
I wish I could like have like a slow zoom in. It's just like a tear coming down repeatedly.
So wait a second. So you went home. You meditated deeply.
I did.
Sun broke upon you meditating. Still as a skeleton.
Yeah.
Well, that's adding colorful commentary there. But what was your day 2 pregame ritual?
Day 2 pregame was a little bit less coffee, a little bit more water. I'm still continuing to listen to the book. Took a
blast
separate
for the back.
Actually, I totally forgot. It was killing me all day. Took a different route up, which I highly recommend for anybody who's looking for more creative thinking. Always take a different route that actually stimulates your mind into finding different ways to the same solution.
Nice, very nice.
It is actually it actually works. So got there, didn't get there as early as last time. Walked around, saw that all the shirts that I was looking at earlier were gone. And I wanted to get Kimia's Sisters of Battle t-shirt, and I was going to focus on the Skaven one, but I was like, screw this. I'm going to go hang out and look at models.
Yeah.
So walk up to the store, immediately walk away, as one does. So Nick Gonzalez and I had been talking the night previous. And I was thinking I was getting paired into someone else. I don't know if we can say their name on the show, so I don't want to do that without making sure. I thought I was getting paired into someone else, and I was feeling really good about it because I understand how the list plays. I've been run over by it before, and that's exactly how I always want to know. Right? I want to lose more than I win in my practice game, so I can know exactly how hard they can kill me when it comes to tournament games, tournament practice games.
Makes sense.
So I was geared up, ready to go. I already finger gunned. We were ready to go. Boom, boom, bang, bang, bang. Let's do this, right? Mm-hmm. And over the course of the night, I had been talking with Nick. I was like, look, I think I'm getting paired with him. Who are you getting paired with? Yada, yada, yada. And I was like, I do not want to be paired into your list. I have no idea how to handle your list. Mm-hmm. So day of, we're talking about like, hey, yeah, this is going to be great. Both of us Soulblight Gravelords, we're going to dodge each other and win our next games. Yada, yada. Boom. Immediately paired into each other.
Yeah.
So Nick Gonzalez and I, two little vampire dudes. Both also working for the same company, we found out. So we crash each other's work meetings every once in a while.
Oh, that's funny.
Which is hilarious.
That just sounds like great.
We got paired into each other on Life Cycle. So Life Cycle is an extremely fun mission. I know we talked about it in the previous episode. So those of you who are listening to this one and haven't listened to it, go listen to that. We go into an actual great breakdown with the TO of the entire tournament and pros and cons. So we get paired onto this table, and we're both just super excited. I'd never played Nick. I'd never played this mission. And
you've really never played Nick before?
I'd never played Nick. No, So I purposefully have been farting around with lists. Last time I did well enough.
Yes.
The community and the game was not in a state that was enjoyable to play competitively for me. I'll just be 100% honest.
Yeah.
So I have purposefully kind of dodged those like heavy hitter lists and just being like, hey, what can I play that I enjoy? Right? Mm-hmm. I don't care about making 4-1. I don't care about making 5-0. I care about having good games and good conversation. So
a great attitude to have, as always.
Yeah. So Nick, his list. First off, it's his name. The list name is pretty brutal. Dad is drunk and has alcohol on his breath. Here comes the belt. Nick, what the shit, dude?
And you won't use a straw.
I know, right?
Shit.
So Nick is running.
Does he need a hug? Is he all right?
I mean, he needed a hug after this game. I'll tell you what. So
that's fine.
Hey, go on.
So he's running Soulblight Gravelords with Backnell Blood as well. And he's got 3 drops, so I already know I've got choice, right? If I really want it, I've got choice.
Yeah.
He brought Aetherot Machineries, which, again, Twilight's better, man.
Yeah, but he's got swords to ignore your wards. I see what he might want, but...
Yeah. But
again, you're right, though. The Always Strikes Last spell with those... It's so good.
With the mirrors, it's too nice.
It is.
But he took Intercept and Recover and Restless Energy. And this is really, really important. It's super hyper important for the game.
Okay.
This was by far the hardest game in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mirror match, straight up. That's rough.
I don't know if it was a mirror match, because here's his list.
What?
He had a Vengorian Lord as well, with Shard of Night and Immortal Ego. Mm-hmm. Askergan True Blades. 1 unit of Barrel Guard. 1 unit of Vargeis. And a White King and 1 in his General's Regiment. The second regiment was Laukavai, so that's 2 Vengorian Lords, 1 being the special player, right? another unit of Askergan True Blades, and 2 units of Lovely Vargheists. So he does have the 3 Vargheists. So I can see why a lot of people think it's a mirror list. But it's not, because of those battle tactic cards. So
that is an interesting thing, though, to think about now.
So
you're doing the same faction, a similar enough list, but they play so differently because of the battle tactics cards.
So the Regiment of Renown, this is where it becomes a completely different list. Summer King's Entourage with Usharan, Cryptguard, and Morbid Knights.
Okay.
So you have 3, well, you have 1 like unkillable beat stick that you don't want to charge into. You want to shoot to death, right? And then you have 2 like distraction carnifexes with the Askergan True Blades there to, be a debuff machine. And then essentially like a castle, a slow moving castle with like units that you can throw out to take an objective.
And then Usharan's just there living the life.
Yeah, Usharan is there to like fuck up whatever he runs into, and their children. And he has a belt, and he's drunk.
We just,
I know.
I mean, like not a void dry, not an again, like. Yeah. Okay.
It's a list. It's a list that like is going to strip you of rend.
Yeah,
it's going to strip you of the ability. I think it was to. I can't remember what the True Blades do. They either take away. They take. I don't know. We'll have to look at it. They're another debuff unit. They could make you fight last on a 4. I think.
That sounds right. That might be one of the old things.
Yeah, the White King triggers the Barrow Guard, which are the main killer units outside of like the 2 distraction carnifexes, and obviously Usharan. And the Crypt Guard also strip you from the ability to use command abilities, right? So it's a huge debuff list, which means he wants to have it as a castle so he can just wear you the hell down if you try and charge in, because you're not going to be able to get through everything. And it's going to mess with you, right? So we set everything down. We're just both like, man, this is going to be so fun. This is going to be so fun. And I'm like, I'm going first. I move up.
Ooh.
So I set. If you look at the map, there is no on the center like rectangles. Those 11 by 9 rectangles. Or 11 by 15 or something like that.
Yeah, 11 by 15.
So the 2 center ones, you can't deploy in there. So it actually gives you like a good distance in between, meaning he doesn't have any run and charge stuff. So that means I know that I've got a turn of perfect positioning before he comes in and does crazy stuff, right?
Ooh.
Now the 2 places of power, the terrain, I can't remember what it was. They were using like a ton of Fire Slayers terrain as places of powers. I don't think this was a table that had it. I think it was the ones that you see on TTS where they're the balls with the support structures underneath them, like the pillars. Pillars and balls.
Pillars and balls, yeah.
Pillars and balls. So essentially what I did was set down endless spells in a way where he wouldn't be able to charge through them to get me right at the center of the board. So I wanted to start by denying him the castle and try and confuse him just a little bit. So I moved everything up just out of charge range. Not out of charge range, but out of move and charge range from him on my turn, with all the endless spells blocking the middle. So no matter what he does, if he's going to come at me, he's got to split his force, right? So he doesn't take the bait on his turn and moves all of his army up just minutely, just the slightest, to which that's the end of his turn as well. At that point, I Leroy Jenkins half of my army and basically threw all of my Black Knights in to his army all at once. But the way he had deployed, he had put the squishier stuff on the outsides with the Vargheists just wrapped behind him so he could drop them out and try and take my objectives, right? It's another one of those lists where we throw one unit out, take the objective, get a unit. So
also for those playing along at home, the True Blades have an ability to debuff monsters, and also on a 4-up, give a target strikes last.
That's what it is. So at that point, I did not care. I knew that the True Blades were going to hit hard. I had 1 CP for an all-out defense. I did not care about killing him. So he had his more big knights on my right side in his deployment zone, still hugging by a forest to kind of like make my charge a little bit more disorderly. I think he was worried about me killing a lot more stuff than I was worried about ever dealing any damage. So what I did was I took 1 unit of 5 Barrow Knights each, completely up the side, and then got into combat where I wasn't attacking any of his big units, and I was just far enough where it would be like a 9 to 10 inch charge for any like counter charge from him. And tapped the Askrigan True Blades, tapped the Morbeg Knights, tapped the Crypt Guard, tapped 2 units of Vargeist. So I've now got his entire army wrapped by the side where he can only hit me with 3 inches worth of attacks.
Yeah.
And then the last unit, because I knew there was more just going on the right side with the potential of the White King and the Barrel Guard, and then the Morbeg Knights and the other unit that the Crypt Guard, right? There's more on that side. So full send the unit of 10 Barrow Knights into that unit to be, here's your giant distraction. You need to clear this. So he is just now entirely pinned. The only models in his army that aren't pinned are the White Lord, the White King, who now can't countercharge because he has to go through like a morass of models that he's cleverly, compacted in his castle. And then he's got his Ushi and 2 distraction carnifexes and 1 unit of Vargeist. Meanwhile, my Vargeist have just been sitting in the backfield with all the rest of my army, my Blood Knights, my Vengorian Lord, my Vampire Lord. They're not caring. They're just sitting pretty behind that little center wall that I built, waiting to see what happens next. So he goes to town and admittedly has like some middling rolls. I managed to all out defense the correct Barrow Knights unit. So all of my Barrow Knights live throughout this, and all of his units are tied up at the start of his next turn. I then power through that 1 unit of 5 because of the specific unit that I hit on the charge, and was able to keep him out from combat with the units that I didn't want to pile through, and get just on the right side to be a threat to every part of his army to hold them. So he has no movement outside of retreat. So now he has no way of charging me except for with 3 units and a White King on his
for his position then.
So at that point he's kind of like scratching his head, and then immediately, like a boss, goes and just starts ripping me to hell.
Okay, fair.
Fair. So Vengorian Lords, both Laukavai and his normal Vengi, come out from the center, and they start being annoying. And then he has his Barrel Guard come out as well. These are going after the objective on my left in the middle of the field. So he wants to take that. I've firmly got the one off to the right pretty much handled. And I've got it surrounded with a bunch of Vargeist. So anything that he tries to bring up, I've got an immediate counter charge. But remember, he doesn't have that much there, right? So as soon as Ushi, as soon as Ushi starts pushing for it, they just redeploy and get the shit out of there. Good. So throughout the entirety of the game, he's unable to hit any of these guys, right? So I've completely shut down an entire area of his battle tactics cards, right? Intercept and recover. He didn't get 1 until the end of the game.
It's hiding away. Nice. Yep. 15 points can really easily be squirreled away if you're Playing the wrong list with the list can't get to them.
Yeah, and this really was like this was a pure battle of positioning and applied force. So he was able to bring in some Angorian lords. We had to really think about like our process of who's fighting first, who's not. I managed to take out, I think it was his Vangorian Lord first, because that was the one that he could juice up with Laukavai with her spell, and it had Immortal Ego and all the shit that you need, right? So I knocked that sucker out. He's got Laukavai on for just a little bit, just enough, I think, to kill off my Vampire Lord, which is totally fine. And then Laukavai goes next. So now I'm stuck in the center of just a ton of those True Blades. No, the True Blades just
they died?
Fell apart. Yeah, they fell apart on both sides. Shit. They just don't have a good save.
Yeah, they're 5 up. They're warrior monk aesthetics.
Yeah,
I mean, it's very natural for them.
They got chewed up by the Blood Knights over the course of the game, and then the Barrow Knights. So they weren't really there that much. His Vargheists had already been killed down. Like over the course of 2 rounds of combat, they both, like the Vargheists, the Askerian True Blades were gone.
Yeah.
They just weren't there. Same with the Crypt Guard and the Morbeg Knights. So he's really down, I think it was by turn 3, to White King, Ushi, and Barrel Guard. But and I think he may have done something where he resurrected Morbeg Knights or something. Something came back.
Sure.
But at that point, he is down, and I'm also bleeding because like whatever he's hit has lost a major amount of models. So I'm
I bet,
slowly trying to do the recursion game. We both had 2 huge flubs. One, he decided to power through with Ushi, which I don't think cost him the game, but it was one of those things where it could have actually swung us closer to the difference between a minor victory and a minor loss. It was a huge moment where he was sitting on the objective, and he had the ability. I basically used the Vargheist as bait the entire game, and then fed him 1 when I knew that he couldn't get all 3 battle tactics, right? So I fed him 1 as bait to say, hey, why don't you leave that objective, because I would like it, sir. You can have this battle tactic, but I want that objective because it will give me 10 points. I'll trade you for 5. He took the 5, and I got 10. So over the course of the game, I'm still just putting units back in. My one mistake was that I had forgotten that I had a unit of Barrow Knights that I could resurrect in the backfield. And could have brought them on a turn earlier to maybe force a little bit more problems in his face. Not that I didn't provide enough already, I'm sure he will say. But it was a lot of dancing around Ushi and letting him have the 1 objective to, my 3 at each point in time. Every time he grabbed one, I was able to go and grab the others. And it was a slow whittling down. Couple of failed charges, couple of random dice, yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the game, I had gotten, I believe it was, let me just pull it up so I'm not lying here. I believe I'd gotten, 5 battle tactics out of it. I wasn't able because he
talk about consistency, though. You've been saying that you've been doing good on that this whole time, huh?
Yeah, he had reduced me down enough to, I don't think at the end of the game that I would have been able to get the last battle tactic. And he didn't realize that I had already scored a bunch more. So he was thinking we were like neck and neck. It turned out to be 59 Nick, 70 me.
So a comfortable victory, a comfortable 11 points because those battle tactics.
Yeah, there was a point where I was like, "What are you talking about, man? I don't know, man. Like, whatever you say." I'm like, I want to believe in you, buddy.
And
I don't think he realized that there were actual battle tactics.
Intercept and recover made the difference there, right? Because he had that battle tactic, and he got none of them.
Well, he got 1. I allowed him to have 1 because that gave me 10 points on a turn as opposed to I think it was
that's
8,
fair,
right?
but that's a 10.
And I wanted to own the tempo of the game.
That's fair.
So yeah, so that was that. That was probably the hardest game of the tournament, and one of my favorites. We both had so much fun. Both of us actually ended up laying down and dying at the end of the game. I think both of us were on the floor at least twice during the game, to the point where people were coming over and asking, "What's going on?"
So it sounds like that was a real blast. I mean, for a mirror match such as it was, what a fun one! And, great guy, friend of the channel. So this is like what we like to see. So here we are. You vanquished Nick. It's a great.
Yeah, we're 3-1.
3-1 going into the final.
Yeah.
Who was your final boss, Matt?
I got the Landy man. I got Alex Landicho.
Oh.
Landy, second Alex.
Welcome, good sir, to the Discord, my friend.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Landy.
Yeah.
So Landy and I have played a lot before. He has, in all the times that I've played against him, he has had this beautiful Sylvaneth army. So when I saw his name, I didn't even look at the army. I just saw his name and was like, "Hey man, it's gonna be Sylvaneth. Sylvaneth are terrifying. Why am I going up against Sylvaneth for my last game? Holy shit!"
Yeah.
So he shows up. He shows up to the table with a Stormcast Eternals list.
Wow.
And
so
he had. I was asking him. I was like, "Why did you go from Sylvaneth? They're so good right now." He's like, "The last game that I think him and I had, it was when I was really enjoying that my Paladors were back in vogue for a couple of RTTs, and he was like." When you just made me real sad with your Paladors, I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go ahead and move all of this.
Matt, this shit got personal. Okay.
Apparently.
Okay.
You were a dark influence on his army choice.
He had a really interesting list. I think, so the mission was Grasp of Thorns, which can be a rough one, right? Yeah. So that mission is the one where if you start on the objective, the underdog can make you stay there. Models have to stay there, which is really important and something you can actually work around, right? So you can tow in with one if you have a big blob and then just fan your way around. I don't know. There's a bunch of different ways to work around it, I think. Interesting mission. First time I played it, just like everything else. I still cannot believe I've never played any of those missions outside of one. Okay, so his list name is Whiffing Griffins, which was pretty apt. Yeah.
Oh, no.
So he had 3 drops. Lord of Storm, Prison Stormhost, Ancient Machineries, and he was doing Intercept and Recover and Master the Paths. So we know exactly what I'm doing with my Vargas there, right? He was running Sentinels of the Bleak Citadels for his sub-faction. And then Scourge of Garan, for his first regiment was Scourge of Garan, I still don't even know how to say this, Iridan. It should be, I want to say
the crow riding.
Yeah.
The crow riding action.
Take out the second I or something, man. Just call it Iridan. So Iridan, unit of reinforced prosecutors, which was interesting, and a unit of reinforced paladors with Starstrike javelins, another interesting choice. His next regiment was a Knight Relictor, Beacon of Azir, Legendary Tenacity, Equester Soulsworn, and a unit of Vigilers.
Okay.
Third regiment was Knight Arcanum, 1 unit of Liberators, not reinforced, and Equester Soulsworn unit, not really reinforced. And he actually paid for the Stormreach portal. And you can see this is like very, and it's weird because like in retrospect, it felt like I was playing into a Sylvaneth list, the way that he was trying to build like, here's this one fulcrum where all of my power is going to be applied and it's going to hopefully smash you right there, right? And then these guys are just going to stay there and like shrug off whatever you throw at him. He did the one thing that I wanted him to do. He was afraid of my list. And so he did not commit. So
Your list where they have paper, skin, and glass, bones, and die?
Yeah. So that was, we had a long conversation after the game. He allowed himself to get in a position where I was able to so oppressively get stuck in using the same tactics that I did like earlier in the game, where it's like, okay, here is a ton of guys. They're going to hold down this unit from the point where it's going to be hardest for you to like mass concentrate your attacks on them, right? I'm going to try not to kill any of your units, so you can't bring them back. Yeah. And then the only unit that he had that had the ability to really get through me was the Paladors, because they can retreat and charge, right? So they made themselves a nuisance, but I think it was turn after turn, I would delete one or two of them off the board and then just be like, cool, you killed those Barrow Knights off. Here, have these.
Feeding them snacks throughout the game as you scored tactics and got your stuff done.
Yeah. And he was very much trying to figure out how to get to my Var guys, but couldn't figure out how to commit. And I told him again after the game, like the one thing he should have done is just send Irdan in like a freaking sledgehammer when I had critical massed into his blob, right? Because Irdan sitting out to the side meant that he was not committed to either side. He wasn't really able to kind of like feel a direction or follow through on it. So it was one of those games where I think maybe if it wasn't the last game of the tournament, I think he probably would have like whooped my ass. But also the list that he was playing was very dependent on combos. And the goal of my army is to break you up. And I did exactly that right away. So he was not in an area. I think he only got off one turn where he was able to +1 attack, do all this crazy stuff for all the units within Yurdan's range, right? Which I would imagine he just wants to full send with all of them into boom, boom, boom. Here, clear that objective. Here, clear that. Here, clear that, right? Because they have the mobility to do it. So he played them a lot more conservatively, which makes sense, knowing that like I did have the ability to like reach out and tap him and tap him and tap him. So he was kind of afraid of getting stuck because I was just big meanie.
I mean, Blood Knights and these Barrow Knights seem to have been doing very good for you. It was a nice.
That's the theme of the day. So
I do want to talk about the Blood Knights afterwards. Okay. But this game was pretty lopsided. It ended up being 70 me to 31 Alex.
Very solid closeout.
I really shut him down. And part of that, again, is because he didn't commit. And he was thinking he could just feed me stuff. And I was like, the more you feed me stuff, the more I'm going to eat it because I'll last longer than you. And my goal is not to kill you so you can teleport back, right? Yeah. So he really kind of played into like the trap I kind of set up.
Nice.
So that being said, amazing tournament. I ended up placing 6th. It's been a while since I've been up in this ranking.
4-1, 6th place in 100+ person GT run by Games Workshop itself,
or 98 or whatever it is. Yeah. We'll round it to 100 for you.
I'd say a little bit of accolades are due, and you know,
good fucking job, Matt. Let's go.
Great job, Matt. That's a
golf club.
A big respectful golf clap there. And one thing I want to call out, because I think it's something that should not be overlooked, is Tacoma Open. As James, one of our episodes, commented, used the major minor victory as the first tiebreaker, which is the, I guess, official GW tiebreaker from what he was telling us. Which kind of makes sense, right? Close games, win and loss, would kind of make a difference, especially in these brackets. You're right there at the top of the 4-1 bracket, weren't you? Like, wasn't it like a bunch of 5-1s, and then you were pretty close to where they started the break?
I was. So it was Dylan Thoreau, friend of the channel. Adam Boatman.
Channel, Gentleman the Scholar.
Yep, Adam Boatman, and then myself with Beasley behind me, then Leo Routman and Mason following.
Those are some big names, Matt. You're hobnobbing up there.
I'm not looking at the rolls right now, but I bet that's the difference maker. You had 4 major victories and 1 minor loss.
That's what it was. And then I think Dylan just outscored me. Yeah, he outscored
like the second tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Because then it gets down into like strength of schedule from your opponent or like win percentage and stuff like that. But I mean, you can control minor victory and major victory.
The one list that I really didn't want to run into, which there was one Daughters of Cain list that finished second, Frederick Schmidt, that I was like, I have no interest in playing into this.
They're terrifying right now.
Just on a personal level.
well, Matt, tell me about with your list though. You said you wanted to talk about the Blood Knights and the Barrow Knights. Were they MVPs? The Barrow Knights gumming stuff up? Was your movement really the key here?
So
were the Vargheists teleport? Like what was it for you?
So the real thing is like nothing is an MVP in this list, and that's the exact way to play it. Nothing should matter more than anything else.
Yep.
Even though some things should look like they matter more, like the Vangorian Lord. Laukabai in my list is there to put down a mirror so that the next wizard can do it if they want. But I'll be 100% honest. I didn't realize I had 2 wizards in the list because I forgot that the Vampire Lord was a wizard until one game before the tournament. So, again, think about it this way. All of those units mean nothing to me. They mean nothing to me, like a pure vampire.
Mm-hmm.
See, this I think is design philosophy, which you and I very much, I think, both adhere to for the most part. Where some things are worth a bit more, worth a bit less. But exactly that, Rocco.
I'm still a callous beast.
You got so much crap, you don't care if it dies.
Throw the Ungor out there. I don't care.
Kill it all.
Just a callous beast. No,
I love it. You're wearing the hat, man. The body's not Gaudi's.
Yeah, you're damn right.
The main goal of the list was to not ascribe any more weight to the decisions that I was going to be making with any unit that it had.
Yeah.
The outlier being the Vargheists only when the situation presented itself, right?
Yeah,
that's where I was saying adapting to the situation. So if the Vargheists ended up having to be the unit tax for that game where they couldn't die,
they ran away.
I could play them nice and a little bit more cagey. Yeah. They're the one unit that perfectly play cagey, right?
Yeah.
So having 3 of those hanging around until late game when stuff is beat up and they want to clear, they're going to be nice and happy lads, right?
That makes sense.
The one unit that I found time and time again, actually the 2 units that I found time and time again that were A, underwhelming, and B, I realized I had too much emotional investment in, were the Blood Knights and the Vampire Lord. Because the way that their war scrolls work, you need to be charging. You want to be setting up a countercharge with them.
Yeah.
You need to be going into infantry to be getting the most out of them. So these 3 things mean that you have, instead of reacting and playing to the game, you're trying to set up your own mini game. And that can stumble a lot more.
That makes sense. You're trying to create a situation where they do their best day, their best thing, but that's not always the best thing for you to be doing. But at the same time, and maybe this is just a good note to call out, I think they still play to your plan because even though there are a few points, the combination of those 2 things aren't so many points that they're like your magic warhammer, you're kissing and hoping it wallops to win the game. You can do other things. They're still expendable.
Yeah.
You didn't beat your own design philosophy.
And they do enough damage.
Well,
they're still useful.
I think not.
No?
Silver lining of the unit.
Go on.
They do scare opponents. Opponents will have an innate fear of them because of the way
historically,
that
Blood Knights are the unit.
Right?
Yeah, have been and still sort of are. I mean, I think that what's the term that people use for this? The distraction card effect. So that game comes from the shall not be named other game where we should make coin and Warhammer.
They sort of did that, but the problem is like with the giant beat sticks that are out there, like they don't last in a small unit. So you either need to double up, which comes at a considerable price. They're I think $220 each for 5, right?
So $220 for 5 is a reasonable investment. $440 is
for like a heavy cav kind of.
No, it's still
you've got other stuff you could bring,
and they're okay. the Barrow Knights are, I think, 10 points more, and
really
they're much more survivable. Yep.
Man.
So I think in my next iteration of the list, I'm going to stop worrying about the mirror as much, because again, like all of the planning, all the testing was only with one wizard. Don't need to change it because that was working well for me anyways. So the next thing that I'm probably going to do is use the lesser mounted white character, and then another unit of Barrow Knights.
Some good learnings from the, from what you saw there at the tournament. It sounds like some ways to refine and kind of take away the weakness identified, which I think is maybe an interesting topic for a future episode, which is to iterate or to jump to a new concept, because we always learn these things at the end of tournaments or the end of like big sweeps of games, where assuming not too much changes in the meta, you might say, okay, well, I now know how to turn this, trusty broadsword into like a truly honed, weapon, or whatever it happens to be.
Well, yeah. And like the main impetus of bringing them in the first place was because I had finally finished Melkor. I haven't liked them for a long time, but I finally finished that model. I was like, there's no way I'm not going to bring this to a tournament. I'm going to hate myself if I leave that on the table. Screw it. If that makes me a 1-4, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that because it's the model I want to play, right? And if I treat it the same way that I do any other army or any other unit that I would have in the place, it would still do the job, just not as effectively. That just means I have to approach the situation with a little bit more care. Just remember, right? And I think that's where building the next competitive list, to build actual competitive lists, right? That's where that change will come in. But for the purposes of playing the game, I'd much rather be more comfortable with the units that I've been practicing with. Even if I don't like them, I know their weaknesses, right? And I know what they can't do, which means I won't have the ability, personally, if I'm trying to play consistent, to throw them into oversized matches.
I think that's a lesson, honestly, to be able to internalize, and maybe a good point to end on, is that if you go into something, we said many times, and you work within, sort of that capacity range and that familiarity, you're going to really deliver some great results sometimes.
Yeah. Well, that was an awesome tournament. Thank you so much, everybody that I played. It was amazing, and I'm sorry I ruined your day.
A well-deserved victory.
That one guy that made that one charge.
Yeah.
You know
who you are.
5 great guys, 4 girls, 5 great opponents, 5 great experiences. But hey, you brought a good list and you piloted it. Another golf clap for you, Matt. Good job in the 4-1 and a great finish at Tacoma Open. And I'd say down to a couple of moments. I mean, did you wear the magic shorts, or was this without even that?
This was, man, I had worked so hard that week. I forgot where my eyeballs were. I think I walked out of the house 3 times before I realized that it wasn't wearing my glasses. I'll put it that way.
I can't believe it. Had you worn the shorts,
and he went back and realized he was wearing contacts.
Yeah. If he wore the shorts from the podcast, Rocco, this would have been a 6-0. Give him the bone
Jeez, man.
Yeah. That's all right. Still,
next time I'm gonna go for the tracksuit because it's tracksuit.
Yeah,
gonna do the tracksuit.
Miles got the 4-1 of the tracksuit GT.
That's right.
That's true.
There's power and investment.
There is. There really is.
For that.
And seriously, at least the shorts, they're really comfortable.
If you did see me, you probably saw my Bods Not Gods hoodie, which is just the most comfortable freaking hoodie ever. It also works as a great dice pack.
That counts.
That counts.
That's the merch.
That's a powerful merch.
Super, hyper, aggressively showing off my Seattle white legs, see-through legs.
I like to wear the combination of our jersey and the shorts, so I look like a looming 6'5" tiger.
Yes, top-heavy, happy person.
I wear the different shirts and the shorts. It's again, we have a lot of stuff. Not to toot Matt's horn here and all the graphic design we've been doing, but it's getting pretty good.
He's pretty good at making cool things. They can be found at the store, not to over promote it.
It's almost like what I went to school for. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're near the end, as always, guys. So certainly like, subscribe, check it out, join the Patreon if you're so inclined. But really, we just thank y'all for being here. And you might be at that point where the last word is in contention.
Yeah, will it be? It's a good place, I think.
Is it skeleton?
You should comment too before I forget.
Is it
Lance Straw?
Leave
welcome, Matt.
Comment on how bad vampires are. Blood Knights in particular.
Don't forget, you're a vampire. Always use a straw.
Hello, everybody. It is Rocco, your boy, coming at you once again with another Always Strikes Last promo. That's right. Ring that bell. Leave a like, a subscribe. On whatever platform you're listening to us on, be it YouTube, be it Podbean, whatever you got these days, so you can keep up to date. Don't forget, we have the Patreon, if you want to, give us a thank you for all the stuff we put out. That gets you into our member-exclusive Discord. And if you want to be an even bigger supporter, we've got a merch store.